So here's another piece of my story. A lot of you have seen me all week wearing this flower in my hair. Some of you have smiled. Some of you have looked at me kind of to the side like, I don't know about that. Some of you have been kind enough to not say what you were thinking. And some of you have actually commented. And do you know God used that? God used your words. Because the story is that when we were in one of our first ministries in Mexico, we were taught that anything that drew attention to ourself took away from the message we were given. No fingernail polish, no loud colors, skirts to the floor, nothing that draws attention to yourself. And so the fun part of Katie got stuffed way down into those long skirts, and I complied. Because who am I to take away from the gospel? But years later, in a different ministry, in a different situation, I was supposed to be teaching a class in like 2 minutes. Hot, humid, I was running after the kids, trying to get the background looking decent. You know how it is, right? Hadn't given a thought to my hair. Grabbed my daughter's flower headband and stuck it in my hair and went to class. I went, oh, Katie, I love your headband. That looks so awesome. Well, thank you. I didn't think anything of it. Next class, where's your headband? How come you don't wear that more often? That was really cute. And so I did. I put it on again the next day. And when I did that, the Lord spoke to me. And he said, you know how you feel when you wear that flower in your hair? That's how I want you to feel all the time. I made you to love color. I made you to be someone who could shine my light just the way you are. There is no shame in being who God made you to be. There is no shame in being who God made you to be. There is no shame in sharing the story that God has divinely appointed for you to take to the world when you share it for his glory. And as God gives me opportunity, this flower in my hair has allowed me to talk to witch doctors and millionaires and beggars on the street about Jesus. He can use your story. And every time someone comments on how beautiful or fun that flower is, God reminds me that he delights in how he made me. Brian mentioned our flamingos. This is another part of my story. A couple years ago, we took our kids on a trip up the river in Mexico. Got to go see flamingos in the wild. I'd never seen them in the wild. And I don't know what I was expecting. I'd only ever been close enough to the pink plastic yard ones, But we came around the corner in that river, and there was pink everywhere. Green on both sides of the river, the blue sky above, and pink fluffy clouds. I mean, it just looked like somebody's cotton candy machine had exploded all over the place. And it made such an impression on me. And as our little tin can motorboat got closer, our guide lifted the motor up out of the water so that it wouldn't drag and get bent up. Because there was crocodiles in this river too, right? Really shallow water. Crocodiles there, the flamingos, and I'm thinking they're going to fly away. They're going to be scared. I better get some pictures while I can. Do you know what they did? They were not scared of me. And they were not scared of the boat. And they were not scared of the crocodiles in the river. Those flamingos stood there and did exactly what God had created them to do in spite of the danger. They didn't care how odd they looked in that environment. They kept doing what they were created to do. They didn't care what we were saying about them. They kept doing what God had created them to do. And do you know that a flamingo gets his color from what he eats? I use these metaphors now in my business all the time. It's actually become our brand name, the Flamingo Advantage. Because you get to do you in business. Flamingo's colored by what he eats. The brightest of the flamingo has found the best food, and he is the leader of all the other flamingos because he knows where to get the best nutrients. Translate that into your story. Who's looking to you to find what they need to be getting nutrition from? Spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially, in their faith, in their relationships. Who's looking to you to be the pinkest flamingo you can be? And are you giving them that? Are you getting your story to them? Do they see it? Can they digest it? Can they follow you? And if not, why not? The God who sees all, knows all, and is not surprised chose you. He chose you. He put this story into your hands to share for his glory. We don't have to be ashamed to be who God made us and to share the story that he has ordained in our lives.